Welcome to Watercolors with Jaylene, and today we're going to do just some quick little daisies. They make for a great little card, a little greeting card, and they're fun, quick, and easy to do. And I would like to start off by asking you to please subscribe to my page. I really appreciate that. And today we will be using a small piece of 130-pound cold press watercolor paper. I do have a black permanent Micron 05 pen. I have my paints, and today we will be using a violet or a purple, and I will also be using a #1 round brush. So to first draw these, it's real quick, and it's just some teardrop shaped loops. So, and I always try and do 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. And then for the center of the flower, it's not a full round flower, obviously. It's a profile, I guess you could say. So I just put a bunch of dots for the center of the flower. And then I like to go through and put a second loop on each one of these. And I just make sure that it's a little bit smaller than the first one. Okay. And then I want to do another flower. So we'll go 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. And then there again for the center of the flower, just a bunch of little dots. And we'll make a second loop in each one of these. And you can see my pen, actually my pen looks like it's running out of ink, but it's not a solid line. If you do have a pen that's a solid line, that's fine. This one just happens to be, I think, getting low on ink, to be honest with you. So then I'm going to put yet a third flower on here. And we'll go 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. And then the center of the flower, which is just a bunch of dots. And then we can do, kind of trace the petal. Okay, so then we can start with this one, and we'll draw the stem down, and the stems don't have to meet, they just all go down basically to the bottom of the page. And then we'll want to draw some leaves, and I do just one leaf per flower. This one, and then over here. And to do the leaves, you can do them, whatever you feel comfortable with. I do them in kind of a funky heart shape, and then just do a little stem to the plant itself. So then with my brush, what I'm going to do is get my violet or purple paint, and I want it very, very light on the brush, a lot of water on the brush, and very light with the color. And I'll show you why. We're going to be kind of layering the colors. So we want to start out with just a nice light layer. You do want quite a bit of water on your brush. You want to keep it very wet, because then we'll be adding color on top of this, and we want it wet enough to blend it, just lightly blend it. Okay, so we keep this nice and light. You can do any color flowers. They're really cute in blues, pinks, oranges. Then the centers of the flowers I do typically in yellow, which you'll be seeing that shortly. So now I've done that very lightly with the purple. So now I want to get a little more purple on my brush and just kind of do a couple taps in at the base of the flower, the inside part of the flower. And with keeping the that first layer very wet, it will gradually fade out into the flower. That's not the right word I'm looking for, but I can't think of the right word. So we're going to go through, and I'm going to do all of these in this purple or lavender. And then as I make a card with these, I would use a purple or lavender background. But I've done them in all colors, and it depends. If I'm doing a thinking of you card for a man, I might do purples, and then for a woman, you know, do pinks maybe. Okay, so now we go with a little bit darker. Just kind of touch in around the beginning there and let that all blend out a little bit. And now for the third one. You can see how I barely have any color on the brush at all. I do have a lot of water, but not a whole lot of color. All right, so we have that one done. Now this one, I almost want to add a little bit more purple to that, just to kind of enhance it, almost spread out a little too much. Okay, so now we can put a little bit here and just watch it spread and kind of blend out. All right, so now for the leaves, we just want to add a little hint of color, and I'm using just a sap green. And there again, I keep a lot of water on my brush with very little paint because I'm not really adding, I don't want it to be real bold. I just want a little bit of color to kind of enhance the leaves a little bit. And I'm doing all of this with the #1 brush. If you wanted to, if you don't have a #1, you have a #4, I think that would work just as well. And I just am more comfortable with the #1. I use it a lot for some of my smaller work. So now with the green paint, I just want to do a quick little run down the stem. And it doesn't have to be perfectly on it. Just kind of to add a little bit of color. And I do the little stems. Okay, so we have the stems, the vines, the petals all finished. And now I'm going to take just a little bit of yellow. And there again, it's just a hint of color with a lot of water on my brush. I'll show you why in just a moment. So I want to just kind of dab some yellow into the centers, the little dots, the centers. And then with those still being wet, I take just a dab of orange. Let me get that a little wetter. So with just a dab of orange, and I just kind of touch it a little bit in towards the center, and that way it adds a little bit of texture, changes color just a hint. There we go. There. So that's it. That is the trio of daisies. And like I said, you could add this, you could put this, make this into a card. And I'll show you there. There's a purple or violet background, lavender background that really makes the colors pop. So that is, that's it for this quick little tutorial. I hope you enjoyed it. And as I mentioned at the beginning, if you could subscribe and like my YouTube channel, I would really appreciate it. And if you want the patterns, the downloadable traceables for any of my little cards that I make, feel free to go over to my Patreon page and check that out. And for just a couple bucks a month, you can become a member and get all of my tutorials, my downloads, and there are other tiers that are available. If you would like to receive original cards that I paint, that's on there as well. So feel free to check that out. That's Watercolors with Jaylene on Patreon. And again, if you could subscribe to my YouTube channel, I appreciate it. Until next time, have a great day.